It's time for another countdown. Today we are doing the top 10 most affordable statues I own. Now you might think, okay, the cheapest? No, not the cheapest. There's a significant difference between affordability and cheap. For example, years ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, I used to sell electronics, big screen TVs, the rear projection Mitsubishi. Some of you remember those, some of you do not. And people would come in and be like, I want your cheapest TV. So I'd take them over to our second cheapest TV, which was right next to our cheapest TV, as far as price. And I'd start giving the features and I'd watch their eyes dart to the price tag on the cheaper one. And eventually, inevitably, they'd always say, well, what about this one? And I was like, oh, you wanted the lowest price TV. I thought you meant cheapest, like worst quality. That one's almost as bad as this one, but not quite. And a light bulb would go off in these people's heads that, hey, you get what you pay for. It was kind of my passive-aggressive way to pass on that information. Now, that doesn't have a fucking thing to do with what we're talking about today. I just thought it was a good story. Hey, my name is Mr. X. Welcome to the Extreme Channel. We are giving away $1,000 statues to you guys. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey everybody, I appreciate you tuning in. Today is another top 10 countdown regarding statues. So a few disclaimers. These are statues I still currently own. And what does affordability mean? Well, that's a really hard thing to measure because first of all, it's subjective. Some people think statues are worth it and some do not. That's why some people will purchase a statue, sometimes for even above retail, where others wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot stick. Have you ever seen a 10-foot stick? I don't think sticks come that long. It'd be a branch, right? The other hard part about this is I've been statue collecting 9 years, almost 10 years. So when I started, a quarter scale statue was $300 to $350. Now they're all the way up to $2,000, $2,500. So part of that's inflation. But anyway, I got together a top 10 list of, hey, when I purchased these products at retail, this was a steal. And it doesn't mean it was the cheapest statues I bought. And these aren't ones I got for a good deal. Like maybe I bought it in the aftermarket or used points. I just paid the retail price. And I tried to rank these from 1 to 10, and it was so hard because it's so different. I bought different ones at different time periods. They're different scales. They're different characters. They have different resale factors. But these are my top 10 most affordable statues for what you get. And we're going to start with number 1, go to 10. Again, the order doesn't really mean anything, just like when you get married and your wife says she'll put you first. So number 1 is actually one you see in every single video. And I think because this holds up, for $580, I got this Wolverine right here from Sideshow Collectibles. I think this was a steal at the time. It has multiple portraits, and it's a quintessential piece of Wolverine with a really elaborate base, the Sentinel hand, despite that it's underscaled, with just amazing sculpt. Nowadays, for a great Wolverine statue, you're a minimum of $800, if not $2,000 to $3,000. I mean, that one right there is about $5,000. Next one, number 2, Brighton Road and Two-Face. So this retailed at $900, $899. That's right, a third scale amazing Batman statue retailed at that. Nowadays, they start at least twice that. I got them for a little bit cheaper, actually. I got them for about $800, and I think you can get them for cheaper than that nowadays. But Brighton Road and Two-Face is an absolutely amazing statue. It still stands up to this day. It's based off of a video game, but obviously it's a Batman villain. That's why I still own him. Love this piece, comes in at number 2. Number 3, I almost didn't put on the list, and I think people might argue with me, but what you get with XM Studios Hulkbuster, the fact that you have multiple display options, you can do it closed, open, Iron Man in it, a second Iron Man piece, $1950 is all this cost back in the day. And to put that in perspective, I think it's better than XM Studios War Machine that's out right now that was released a few years ago, which costs $3,000 to $3,500. So it's definitely a great value and a very affordable statue for what you get. And one of the indicators is that you can resell it for way more than retail, even with the tough economic times we have in 2024. Number 4 was this custom Venomized Deadpool. $935, that's how much this cost. Now this is only quarter scale, but it's bigger than a lot of 1/3 scales, especially how wide it is. So many different switch out options on the arms, 4 portraits with this awesome portrait display, a farting unicorn. $935 for this. Nowadays in the custom world, this would run $2,500 easy. Now the funny thing about this, not funny at all, but the maker actually ended up scamming a bunch of people on future projects, including me. Maybe because he didn't charge enough money and he ran out. Number 1, I actually have in a box. And I'm keeping it in a box because I'm getting the updated version, but HCG Sill. So this statue right here, it's not a great statue, but it was $199. I think originally the price was like $250, and then I got it for like $170 during a sale. But it's a quarter scale statue of Natasha Henstridge from Species. Right now, PCS, to put this in perspective, I have the PCS one on order. That's $1,500, almost 10 times the price. It's probably not 10 times better. It's probably 4 or 5 times better, but that just tells you how affordable this statue is. And technically, I still have it because I will do an extrumble when I get that other one out. Number 6, you also see in a lot of these videos. So one thing you should know is when a custom company comes out, usually their first project is really affordable because they got to get people to trust them. Maybe they don't know what they're doing with costs. Who knows? So with that, a very successful custom company started with this Banshee right here, which is an absolutely amazing piece. Amazing, amazing, amazing. That was only $960 for that crazy elaborate piece. And to kind of put into perspective, most of the other pieces up there are $2,000 to $3,000. So that was only $960 for that custom Banshee. I think that's absolutely amazing. And not only because it's an amazing statue, but just how affordable it was to get that. Next one, a few could have fallen in this bucket from the same manufacturer. They've slowly been raising their prices. But one of their early on pieces was this Christopher Reeve life-size bust. I was an early bird when I purchased it. So it was only $950 for this amazing life-size bust. While it's not silicone, which is all the rage right now because it gives this hyper-realism, that's actually resin and polystone. It has this hyper-realism to Christopher Reeve's. So I think that it's an absolute steal that I got it for, and a few other ones were right in that range too, so I could probably throw those in by the same manufacturer. But that one is just so quintessential and a great deal at $950, where most life-size busts are $2,000 to $5,000. This one I chose a few because I recently did a video with my wife right here. You can check it out. This is on the newest Disney statue from Sideshow and J. Scott Campbell. But their original pieces, their Tinkerbell and Alice, only retailed at $300. Now, while these aren't a specific scale, they're probably close to 1/5, maybe 1/6, depending on how big these imaginary characters were. There's a lot that goes on with these. They have strict licensing rights, and you could get them for $300 for a statue. That's pretty cool. That's a great deal, especially nowadays. Now, those prices have tweaked up for the new pieces. For the equivalent, it's between $400 and $500, which isn't crazy huge over the last 6 years or so. But those come in at number 8. Number 9, I did get for retail, but I had to kind of go around to get it, was this Calvin and Hobbes statue. So this is huge. This is bigger than most quarter scale statues, although I'm not sure the scale on this. Again, it's an imaginary creature. And I might have a little bit of nostalgia tied to this, but this was $550. That's a steal in my opinion, especially since there is very few Calvin and Hobbes merchandise, because Bill Watterson, who I've followed forever, didn't want to license the products. He cared more about keeping the story intact than he actually did licensing the products, which I appreciate. And I know that you're thinking, Mr. X, that kind of makes you a hypocrite because you really admire this guy. You're going against his wishes by buying something like that. Well, I've read his books thousands of times. I have the box set. I have the paperback sets. I've gone through 5 or 6 copies of each book. And I'm not saying I earned it. I'm just saying I have such love for the characters. I need something to remind me of what a happy time he has made in my life from childhood until adulthood. So before I get to the last one here, I want to give it one honorable mention because I don't have it in hand yet. And I might change my mind when it gets in hand. But honorable mention is this one coming out from PCS, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Origins diorama. So there's an adult diorama that I also ordered, but this was only $3.99. Now it seems like a smaller statue, so maybe it's smaller than I think, but I think this is a great deal. I'm looking forward to get this. I PO'd this on day 1. And again, I'm also getting the life-size one where they're sticking their heads out of the manhole right here. But pretty cool piece, and I think that that's still affordable in 2024. All right, last one is kind of interesting because I'm actually upgrading it. But again, the one I'm upgrading costs 6 times more for the exact same character. It is a larger scale. But of course, I'm talking about one you see in almost all my videos. It's the PCS Howling. So this statue, when it came out, was absolutely amazing because it was the only Howling werewolf statue you had. And it was $500. It was $4.99. Again, taller than most quarter scales, almost a third scale just due to the creature size of being 7 or 8 feet. But this Howling PCS comes in at number 10. It was $4.99. I am going to keep it to do an extrumble with PCS's new one, which I have in order. You can check it out right here. But I will end up selling this, and I don't think I'm going to get a lot of money, so resale doesn't really play into this. But $500 for a great statue of a great horror movie is pretty cool. I know this was highly sought after for a while, especially the exclusive, which I have. Probably not sought after anymore, especially with their new one coming out. But that's my list. What's on your list? What's one of your most affordable statues that fall into the parameters of whatever my weird mind set? Throw that down in the comments below because we're pushing towards 40,000 subs. So remember, if you're going to comment, you have to subscribe too. And we'll get there faster. As we try to grow this channel, we like to reward you guys for watching and subscribing. So because of that, every 5,000 milestone when it comes to subscribers, we give away a couple $1,000s worth of statues. We've actually given away over 20 statues. To win one was easy. First, you gotta be subscribed to the channel. You'll get bell notifications when videos drop. Each video that drops, you wanna make a comment on those videos. We pick a random video, we give away statues based on a comment. You can say whatever you want. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate you guys. Please hit that subscribe button. Please drop the like. It's free and easy for you, and it helps me a lot. Thanks so much. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.